familiar with me, my name is Max. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Smash the subscribe button. And today's video, we are going to talk about what kind of gas mileage you can get in a Lotus. I've had a Lotus Elise and now a Lotus Exige S. They're two similar but quite different cars. One of the problems with a car like this is that you don't really have any, I don't know if you guys can see up here in the camera view right now. I can't think of what they're called, the things that block the sun out. They're about this big on the Lotus, literally. Let me measure it actually. They're that big. So you don't get any of those, and if you drive the car early in the morning like I am right now, or late in the evening when the sun is setting and you're heading towards the sun, it is directly in your face. And there's really no way to block it out other than throwing out some shades. Guess how many times I was at the gas station last year? And this goes between all of my vehicles, my Mustang, my Lotus, and our Range Rover. Seriously, take a guess. Between those three cars, we were at the gas station 173 times. Literally, 173. Actually, it's probably a few more. It's probably closer to like 180, maybe even 200. And the reason that I know this is because I only get my gas at BP gas stations 99.99% of the time, because in my area they are the only ones that carry 93 octane, and my Mustang is actually tuned for that octane. And this car, the higher the octane, the better, really. This car and my Elise, they really hate anything less than 92. If you put in 91, they struggle to start even. It's kind of scary. So with that being said, yes, I visited the gas station, or my wife and I, between the two of us, we visited the gas station 173 times. But we drive a lot more than normal people. We go on road trips, we have Lotuses and Mustangs and all kinds of stuff. So with those cars, we tend to drive them a little bit more. Just as I'm doing right now. Comment below, let me know what kind of gas mileage you get in your car. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse than what I get in my Lotus here. Typically in my Lotus Exige, I can expect to get around 180 miles per tank of gas. And that doesn't sound like a whole lot, and it's not, it's certainly not, but it's only a 10-gallon tank. As you guys know, the Lotus Exige, or maybe you don't even know this, the Lotus Exige S is supercharged, so this thing is supercharged. So it gets a little bit worse gas mileage than my Lotus Elise got. So with that math, guys, let's pull out the calculators. 180 miles per tank divided by 10-gallon tank. That leaves you with 18 miles per gallon, which isn't bad for an exotic car. It's really not. The newer Lamborghini Huracans and stuff, they're getting, I think, like anywhere from like 14 to 22 or something like that. So technically you could have a Lamborghini Huracan and get better gas mileage than my Lotus Exige. In my Lotus Elise, it was getting around 200 miles per tank of gas, and it's had the same 10-gallon gas tank. So that one leaves you with about 20 miles per gallon. So you might be going on Google right now and being like, oh Max, you're so wrong. Google says that these cars get like up to like 30 miles a gallon. I'm sure I could get 30 miles a gallon if I drove this thing like a grandma. Realistically, if you're gonna drive this car the way that it should be driven, and the way that you're gonna want to drive it when you have a car like this, you're not gonna get the miles per gallon that's advertised. It's not happening. Sorry to burst your bubble on that one. And since you're always using 93 or the premium octane in your area, you're gonna be spending more on gas. But it really truly is better for your engine. I don't care what you've read online about how it's such a waste of money to pay an extra $2 to fill up your gas tank. So that's BS, guys. In a modern car, it really does help. Most modern cars now, they come with a turbo or a supercharger or some kind of forced induction, or so many of them do. And pretty much any forced induction engine, you have to run premium. And even if it's not forced induction, then the benefits get a little bit more sketchy, but at the end of the day, it's probably better. Worst case scenario, you're gonna spend an extra couple dollars every time you fill up, and it's gonna cost you maybe a couple $100 extra a year, but it's probably worth it. Funny story about Lotuses. They have notoriously unreliable gas gauges. Typically when the gas gauge goes down to around the quarter mark, you want to fill up, because you don't know if you have like only a couple drops of gas left in the tank or 2 gallons. I have let mine get pretty low before, but it's scary, guys, because it's funny enough, when you turn this car and you go around a corner, you'll see the gas gauge, it'll go upwards. So you're increasing the fuel in your gas tank just by driving it, believe it or not. That's how efficient this car is. And it's the same for the Lotus Exige, Lotus Elise. They use the same cluster for the gauges, so you're gonna have that problem. So generally speaking, in this car, you don't wanna let it get less than 25%, or you might be screwed on the side of the road waiting for a tow truck to show up with some gas. And they might not show up with premium, and then you're gonna be crying even more. That there is the notorious unreliable gas gauge. It's this guy right here. And it's actually just, I think it might have increased since I arrived at the gas station. You can't let go of this when you're filling up, because if you see there's barely any clearance right there, if I let this thing go, it'll sit on this fiberglass panel on the car. Usually I put my fingers under it, but normally, since I have the camera in my other hand, I have to hold it up with this hand. Yay! We're full again. So another interesting thing about these cars is the gas cap. On both my Lotus Elise and this Lotus Exige, I've had trouble with the gas caps. They threw the evap code, whatever that one is, 0209 or something, and it scares the heck out of me because you get your check engine light on, and then luckily when you pull it and you see that code, you're like, oh, it's just the gas cap. So the stock gas cap is, for some reason, it leaks a little bit, and you have to go on Amazon and buy one for like 20 bucks, or replace your stock one for a couple $100, which that doesn't make any sense. So I went on Amazon, bought one for 20 bucks and replaced it both times. But it's just another thing that deals with gas that you have to worry about with these cars. All right, guys, we are back. Thank you so much for checking out the video, seeing how much gas mileage we're getting out of a Lotus Elise or a Lotus Exige like this. Generally around anywhere from 15 to 20. You might get less, you might get more. I've got a lot more and I've got a lot more before. Just depends on how you drive it. But at the end of the day, 15 to 20, that's a good estimate. And again, if you drive it like a grandma, you're probably gonna get a lot more. But hey, I'm not driving like that. Anyways, let me know how my car fares up against the car that you're driving in the comments below. I appreciate you watching. Take care and stay blessed, guys.